We have formatted the sheet in the previous video. Now I have removed that data. We will look at better ways to fill in those cells. Earlier we did it by our own calculation, but this time around let us make the spreadsheet software do the calculations for us. So the initial entry we will have to do in the month of March, there is no interest, so total interest will be 0, and the principal amount, which is the 10,000 rupees, is what is owed up to that month. And as you can see, after the formatting, the rupee symbol gets added by itself. Now for the next one, we should input the interest for the month of April. We know that the principal is 10,000 rupees and the rate of interest per month is 0.5%. If we did the calculation, you will get it to be 50 rupees, but let's make the spreadsheet software do the calculation. And for that, for making the spreadsheet software evaluate things, we go to the cell and we press is equal to symbol. This tells the spreadsheet software that whatever is there in the cell, the formula that you enter needs to be calculated. So this would be equal to the principal amount, which is 10,000 into 0.5% is 0.5 divided by 100. You can see that whatever you're entering in the cell is also in this bar, which is where the cell function is being evaluated. And it's already showing us that the quantity will be 50 rupees. So once I have entered this, I press enter and we have 50 rupees. Also pay attention to the multiplication symbol being the asterisk. The asterisk is the symbol above the 8 key. You can press shift and 8 and you will get the asterisk symbol. I'm going to delete the extra one. So now we have done this, enter, and we have 50. As before, we're going to use autofill to fill these cells, and now they are all 50 rupees. As we know, the interest for each month is a fixed amount, and that is 50 rupees. But we can do something more interesting when we go to the total interest to be paid up to this month. The total interest to be paid up to this month, as you can realize, is the interest for that month plus the total interest of the previous month. So that would be the cell B3 plus the cell C2. And this we can do by using again the is equal to symbol, and we directly refer to the cell B3. As you can see, the highlighted cell is B3. When I type in B3, the spreadsheet software highlights it, plus C2, and that is also highlighted. And now I will press enter and I get the 50 rupees, which is 50 plus 0. Similarly, the total money owed up to this month would be the principal plus the total interest to be paid up to this month. So I could again use cell reference and I could write this cell D3 to be equal to D2 plus C3, and I get this. Now let's see what autofill does here. I take this 50 and I drag it down like this, and we see that the increments are all correct. 100 is this 50 plus this 50, and 150 is this 50 plus this 100. Likewise, 200 is this 50 plus this 150. All these values have been filled in correctly. And how is that happening? Let us observe the formula. This cell, we wrote it as B3 plus C2. But now when we go down to the next cell, it has changed to B4 plus C3. And this one, it has changed to B5 plus C4. So what autofill is doing is it is correspondingly changing the cells in the formula as we have gone down vertically, as we have dragged down vertically. it is only changing the row numbers. It is not changing the column values. B is B, C is C, but as you can see, B6 plus C5, now it becomes B7 plus C6, now it becomes B8 plus C7, and so on. So this is giving us the values we want. However, if we looked at the D column and we tried to do the same thing, let us hold this and now drag it down. We see that there is a problem here. What I want is actually the principal plus the interest up to that point, which should be, say, this cell should be 10,150, whereas it's 10,300. This cell should be 10,000 plus 200, but it is now 10,500. So what is going wrong is my formula is being updated to D3 plus C4, the next one becomes D4 plus C5, the next one becomes D5 plus C6. But what we really want is the D2 to be fixed. The formula shouldn't change D2, it should only change the C column row number. And this can be done by putting a dollar symbol in the formula in front of the 2 and press enter. This cell doesn't change. But what the dollar symbol does when we do an autofill now is it keeps the cell fixed. And now if you look at the formula for the cells here, this is D2 plus C4, now this is D2 plus C5, this is D2 plus C6. In all cases, we are getting the principal plus the corresponding interest up to that month. Now, let's do something similar with this column. All of these, instead of using the number 10,000, let us use cell reference. So I'll make this is equal to D $2. Once again, because I only want the 10,000 amount and not the corresponding cells below. This value into again the same 0.5 by 100. Enter. And now again use autofill to bring this down. And we see that every cell is currently D2 into 0.5 by 100. And the reason this is useful, the reason cell reference is very useful is this. If I change my principal amount, instead of 10,000, suppose I made it 20,000. All the corresponding cells are automatically updated. And this is because we are using cell reference. Every cell here depends on the 20,000. Every cell here depends on the 20,000. And this one depends on the B column, which is dependent on the 20,000 cell. So just this one change can give us an automatic update of all the months information. So you could give some strange number, I mean a uncomfortable number like say 34,578 rupees, and all the calculations are done for you. Now let's go back to making this 10,000 for looking at better numbers. And this column, which is currently doing the calculation with D2, but with a fixed interest rate that is 0.5%, we can make this column also a little better by using formulae. For that, what we will do is we will give the rate of interest in a particular cell. In this cell, I will write down the title, which is interest rate per month, enter, and I would like to format it. Once again, I'll do text wrapping, and now I will center align it a bit, horizontal align, vertical align, and maybe also give it a nice color. Let's use this and bold. So this, to indicate that it is the next cell, I'll also give a small arrow looking symbol. And the interest rate, I'm going to fill it in this cell, which is our 0.5%. Enter. Once again, center align and done. Now what we could do is, since we know that G2, in fact I could just use the same formatting for this cell. So a very nice way to do that is I could use this cell copy, which is Control C, and then go here and paste Control V, and now change the content. So I have managed to paste the format, change the content to 0.5%. And if we go back to our column here, the B column, we are going to refer to the cell G1 in order to calculate this value. So instead of D2 into 0.5 by 100, I'm just going to write it as D2 into G$1. In fact, if I want to specifically mention just that cell, I could also put a dollar in front of the column title, which is G. So I have D2 into $G$1. Enter. And now if I did the autofill here, every cell is the same quantity, which is the principal into the rate of interest. I could go further and I can do the same thing with the principal. So I'm going to also enter the principal here. And this principal we are currently calling it 10,000 rupees. I could copy paste again, Control C and Control V. And now if I wanted the same formatting as this, Control C, I select these two cells, and there is something called paste special, which is we can go into the edit, and in paste, Control V was paste, but Control Alt V, which is a special kind of paste, pastes only the format without the cell value. So I just do this, and now I have them all in the same format. Of course, this one can again be made number, Indian rupee. Now, the convenience of all of this is, if I correspondingly changed all the mentions of a principal to that particular cell, which is equal to $G$2, and this one also, instead of D2, I will just refer to the cell with the principal, which is $G and $2, and thus bring it all down. And here also I don't want it to refer to D2 any longer. I just want G2, and again drag it all the way down. Now the convenience that we have with this kind of a setup is you could automatically update the whole sheet simply by playing with these numbers. You want to change this number to 15,000, you get the corresponding values. And you want to change the interest rate, you want to make it 1% instead of 0.5, you're getting the corresponding values. You could change it to 0.3%, and the calculation is done. So this way you don't really need to input every cell of your spreadsheet. If you organize your spreadsheet well and you make sure it represents the data properly, you can also play around with your spreadsheet and update it in very easy ways. And in our example, the entire simple interest data for so and so number of months is completely dependent on these two cells, G1 and G2. So in this way, organizing your data and building your spreadsheet in a way you can manipulate all your data conveniently is a very useful skill to have. In the next video, we will see about some functions that you can use in your spreadsheets. Thank you.